Hey guys, what's going on? Today we're going to be doing our Wednesday wholesaling one-on-one class, and today we're going to be here with Donnie. Donnie is a very experienced investor in the area. Has done a couple wholesale deals yourself, and today's segment we're going to be talking about just basically wholesaling one-on-one, which is starting from the very beginning of wholesaling, going through the whole process. Kind of going to be giving you some tips and tricks, and we're going to be interviewing Donnie here about a little bit about how he got started in the business and kind of going through the full steps of the wholesaling process. So guys, I wanted to start out a little bit by just giving you an intro about what wholesaling actually is. Wholesaling for me is kind of just like a glorified brokerage, and so in the real estate industry, being a real estate broker, we're taking a buyer, we're taking a seller, and then matching those two together, and we're taking a commission. Now, with wholesaling, the structure is different, but the strategy is the same. You're finding a buyer, you're finding a seller, and you're matching those two together, but you're taking the middle as a difference between that price of the seller's contract to the buyer's contract and making that a much more profitable deal than what a real estate broker would probably actually make. And so guys, what we're going to do is kind of go through the steps A to Z about how to wholesale in those steps and kind of go through the process. And so Donnie, I'd kind of like to ask you, in the wholesaling process, the first thing I teach about is kind of about building your buyer's list, because building your buyer's list is something that you need to start with before you actually go into there and start marketing for sellers. So Donnie, talk about a little bit about building your buyer's list. What do you do as far as strategy, and how do you go about building that list as a whole?
Yeah, so it's pretty simple when it comes to buyers. The cool thing about buyers in the real estate market, especially in the market that we're in today, there's about 15 on average buyers per investment property. So it's actually a lot easier finding the buyers than the actual sellers, in which most people think that's the hard part. It's like, hey, if I know the house, it's gonna be hard for me to sell it because who's gonna buy it? Well, wrong. It's a lot of people are on the market to buy and flip houses. So it's the beauty behind wholesaling. So some of the super easy ways that I find buyers, I go on Craigslist, and it sounds kind of shiesty, but it's really not. You just create fake ads of houses that need fixing up and need work, and that you're selling for a discount. And at that point, other investors in the area are going to email you saying that they're interested in the property. When can they look at it? Trying to negotiate with you on this deal. And then in response, you just send them a simple, hey, this property has already been sold, but if I do have more properties in the future, what's your email address? I can just add you to my buyer's list. So when I do come across a property, I'll just be right in your email. Then you try to build a relationship with certain people, like, hey, what areas do you really focus on? What's your price margins? What are you necessarily looking for in the market? So when you go to market for sellers, you kind of know what areas you really want to focus on.
Gotcha. So it's kind of like what a lot of people say, like reverse wholesaling, where you're kind of building that buyer's list first and then figuring out the target areas and where they want to really buy. So your percentage of finding a house and selling it will be a lot higher. So I guess once you get these buyers, is there a contact system or a way that you set those up so then on the back end, when you're selling them, it makes it a little bit easier?
Yeah, that's a great point. So it's important to get the buyers first, so when you do come across a property, you can just get it in the right hands immediately versus having to wait for long.
Sure.
So I use a software, it's free software, it's called MailChimp. There's other email services out there. When I do come across the buyer's email addresses, I literally just copy and paste it into the software. And then when I get the property, I just build a campaign with pictures, information, all the data that the buyers need, and I just click send, and it goes all to every single one of my buyers.
Gotcha. Yeah, which we've used a system similar to that, and that seems to work really, really easily. I mean, gets that message out there as a blast.
Right.
Okay, so once you've kind of found your buyer and you kind of know exactly maybe areas that they're looking for, and that could be either like counties or zip codes or certain just subdivisions, then we're going to start marketing for sellers. So Donnie, I know you've been really successful with sometimes marketing for sellers, and even going on the appointment with them. What's some techniques you use right now on the marketplace?
So when I first started in real estate and wholesaling, I didn't have much money, obviously, so it was kind of tight in marketing. I was in the hot shot, so I was just kind of looking for the cheapest avenues to market and find sellers. So I started with a resource called Bandit Signs. It's literally a We Buy Houses sign. You can put it on the side of the street, and you do that every Friday night so the city workers don't pick it up on a Wednesday. So you want as much exposure as possible without expecting to get some of those signs back. So I started laying 25, 15 signs every week consistently, until I came across a good lead where I can go to the property and negotiate a price and put it under contract.
Gotcha. Well, great. And is there any kind of maybe strategy with bandit signs that maybe works better than others? Like maybe the way you put them out, or the type of display, or the verbiage or stuff you put on there? Is there any good techniques for that?
Yeah. Now with bandit signs, as soon as you start to be in the industry, there's a lot of competition with bandit signs. So I just try to be a little bit different amongst the competitors. I stick with like the yellow black signs. I use a Google Voice number, so I can kind of monitor who calls and knows who they're talking to.
Sure.
But I use a female's name on the sign, and why I think this is important is for multiple reasons. Is when you have a seller that's in a bad situation and they're looking to sell their house, sometimes it's not always an easy conversation to have with people. So if you use a female's name, they feel a lot more comfortable calling the sign. And it's a tactic I learned over time, and it works. I used to put my name, hey, call Donnie, hardcore closer, and he's going to scam you in your house. It's different, like, hey, call Alexis. She's gonna, you can talk to her about your house or whatever situation, and you can maybe work something that's fair for you.
Cool.
Completely different avenue. And yeah, yellow, black, and use a female's name with the Google Voice number. I try to stick to main intersections where there's a lot of traffic of people. You don't want to put it in like subdivisions where people have a low volume of seeing it. You want to have as much exposure as possible for your signs.
Gotcha.
Now that's one avenue to find sellers. Obviously, there's different avenues of marketing. There's driving for dollars, sending out mailers, knocking on doors. There's a lot of easy ways, cheap ways to find leads and sellers, and one of those is driving for dollars and literally door knocking. If you see a vacant house, you literally go knock on the door, see if somebody lives there, or you knock on the neighbor's door. There's some neighborhoods I knock the entire neighborhood. Somebody got to know something about that property and some type of contact information to get in the right hands of the person that owns that property. So I've seen a lot of success in that on one of the free platforms that doesn't cost too much money to do.
Cool, very cool. Yeah, and I think we'll also be doing some segments about, going into more specifics about wholesales and marketing and that kind of thing, because there's probably there's tons of ways to do it. So I mean, we can definitely spend all day doing that. But kind of going a little bit more into, once you get that seller in, you're kind of going through a building rapport with them and also getting some criteria from them. How do you go into setting that appointment, and then how do you go into the actual appointment itself? When you're sitting with the seller, how do you convince them to work with you?
Yeah, that's a great point. When you're going to the appointment, it's important to understand that you are interested in their property, but most importantly, the person is in a situation that they need to get out of, and that's why they made the phone call to you or decided to reach out to you so you could solve that problem. So the way that you should do business is build a relationship and build rapport with that seller, because that's pretty much like your client or customer. You want them to feel comfortable, you want them to feel confident in doing business with you or your team. So I made that one of my most important tactics, especially going even before the appointment. I'm on the phone. Just sometimes I talk to sellers for 30 minutes to 40 minutes, just building relationship, not even about the property, so that they're comfortable with me before I even show up to the appointment.
Certainly a good strategy, because this is a people's person type of business. If you're there just for business, sometimes they kind of get that kind of feeling. So relating with them, building their courage in you, their confidence in you, having some sort of relatability definitely helps. And sometimes that can get you the better deal than you really can getting the better price. And I've seen that a lot.
Yep. And in reality, it's your goal in wholesaling is to help people out because they have a problem that they can't solve themselves, that you can solve. So that's why they're reaching out to you. So yeah, the more the relationship and the closer you are, and the stronger that relationship that you have with that person, when it comes to negotiating and problem solving at the end of the day to get to a certain price, it just makes the job a lot easier.
Oh, definitely. And and I'm kind of curious too. From your standpoint, what you've seen in the marketplace, do you think the sellers are going out and looking at you online more, or is it just, hey, I buy houses and they're not really checking a whole lot of references? It's just really that rapport building. Do you think that they are more or less going out and like they want a business card, they want a website, they want to see maybe some references and what you've done, or is it more, hey, I need to get the hell out of this house and we need to sell today?
Yeah, so when they contact you, they're in a situation for whatever reason. There's hundreds of reasons why. but they're looking to get out as fast as they possibly can, because you're a cash buyer and you work with a team of investors. So as far as the references, I still to this day, Vance, don't have business cards or a website, much less videos of references. So it's the trust that I build into people that trust me and trust them to do business with me.
Gotcha. Yeah, which brings me to the point I think it goes a lot farther, building that rapport, having that confidence with the seller that really that makes the biggest difference.
Yeah, absolutely.
The websites are good for maybe selling properties, which is what we're going to get into, but I think it's really building that rapport with that seller.
Right. Really
catering to what their needs are.
Yep, absolutely.
So guys, once we get through the kind of the appointment setting and we go through the process and we kind of set them up for, okay, they want to go ahead and sign a contract with you. Tell me a little bit about the specifics about how you structure that contract, and then when we're going into the selling side of the project, how you go about marketing and selling the property.
Yeah, so it's important when you're wholesaling, you have to stay under a certain percentage to cater to your buyers, that it's in a fair agreement with the seller as well. So when I show up to a property, building the relationship is huge, obviously. But you really have to walk through that seller, through the property, explain the problems and needs, ask as many questions as you possibly can, and really make sure that they understand the amount of work it needs, if it needs work, or certain problems with the property. Because let's face it, every property, even if it's a brand new home, has problems wrong with it. So it's just a matter of going through the property out of respect for your buyers too, so you know what you're really getting your hands on, because you don't want to show up to a house, never even seen the inside. You negotiate outside, you got to look at it so you can know what need to know what you're negotiating to. So you go through the property, you tally up how much work it needs, and you're walking through the seller, through the property, explaining to them, hey, you know this needs work? Yeah, I know it needs work. Or have you ever got a bid on this? Yeah, I got a bid on it, and a while back it's super expensive. Like, yeah, I know. And having a fine knowledge of the construction on the portion, it helps a lot too. Which there's databases out there that can help you with that. But the way you want to structure it is you want to stand at a certain percentage. My model is 70%. Basically what that means, if a property is worth $100,000 on the top of the market and the property needs $20,000 worth of work, but I want to make a $5,000 assignment, my offer price should be around $45,000, so I can stay under that 70%. So when my buyer comes in, he can buy the property at 70% of what it's worth, so 70 cents on the dollar for his time and his money invested into that property.
Gotcha. Okay. And so great. So whenever you start, I guess you negotiate the contract, you get them under contract, then you go to actually selling the property. And how specifically do you sell those homes? Is it like we talked about a little bit by email? Is that the kind of main?
When you first start, it's just a matter of reaching out to the investors that you found at a networking event or Craigslist or however you found your buyers. But you want to have relationships with some of them, especially key buyers after a certain point. But when you first start, it's just a matter of sending it out to that list that you created when you first started finding the buyers, reaching out to them, or how you contacted them. Be like, hey, I have this property, here's the address, or here's how much I'm asking for it, here's how much work it needs, this is how much it's worth, so they can get them interested in the property. And then it comes to the point where they physically have to see the property. So you want to have access to the property or set up a showing so the investors can see it.
Yeah, and kind of going into that too, because it's a little difficult sometimes whenever the seller's inside that property. It's occupied. It could be by a tenant. It could be by the actual homeowner. So what do you tell the homeowner? How do you structure that in a way where they're not getting upset, or you don't kind of ruin the deal by they're not losing their confidence in you to be able to perform?
Yeah, so I'm normally straight up from the very beginning when we build a relationship. Hey, I work with a team of investors. And it's an understanding that from the very start of doing business is somebody else has to look at this property. So by signing the contract and leaving, they have a fine understanding, hey, I'm going to be back showing other people because there's other people going to be involved in this process. Now, if it gets to a point where they want somebody like a cash buyer, or et cetera, I just phrase it, hey, my contractors and the people that I work with have to look at the property so we can get everything lined up. So after closing, we're good to go. But it's all about the relationship that you build up front so they can have that confidence, and we'll work with you throughout the process. But an easy way for me to do that, it's like, hey, what days are you normally home, or when can I come and show these people the property? They give me a date and a time, usually a few days out, so I have time to market the property. And then I just host an open house for all of my contracts per se, or my investor friends to come look at it.
Sure.
And that's never an issue with renters or sellers, as long as you're straight up front.
Gotcha. Yeah, and it's like setting the expectations is the biggest
Yeah.
thing. Even on the real estate broker side of things, you want to set those expectations so they don't get upset, don't lose confidence in you, they don't feel like they're being scammed. So, definitely setting those is definitely fine news as far as getting those buyers and people in there without any kind of disruption with the contract. So let's go a little bit on to once a buyer says, "Hey, I want to buy this property," how do you get them into contract?
Yeah, so you have the original contract, depending on the state or the title company that you work with. In Texas, we use the TREC. I forget.
1 to 4 family.
Yeah, 1 to 4 family residence. So you put it under a strong contract on the seller's end, and then I have an assignment for my seller. So all they literally have to do is sign the assignment. Hey, I'm buying this property for X amount of dollars. I'm paying an assignment of X amount of dollars, and we're closing on this day. So they sign that agreement, and I staple it to the contract and return it to the title company and wait for closing.
Cool. Yeah, and then once you get down to the title, is there really any much else you have to do?
No, that's pretty much it. The title company is going to make money off closing the transaction, so all the legalities and title work that needs to be done is in their favor and in their hands. So all you got to do is wait for closing.
Cool.
Show up to closing if you want a wire, you want a check, however you want the money paid to you. Your job is done. On to the next.
That's kind of what we've experienced a lot. We used to show up to the closings, and then we started realizing, hey, we don't even have to show up sometimes. There's really nothing for us to sign.
Yeah, being like California, renting Ferraris,
I
just need $30,000.
So
wire to my account.
The big thing you can make off of this is that the cool thing about wholesaling is you can create systems around every step of this process.
Absolutely.
Building a team around you, building partners around you can kind of streamline this whole thing. So then you can be in California cashing checks while you're not even there doing work.
Yep.
So that's kind of the big thing, guys. We kind of went from the beginning to the end of wholesaling. It's kind of more of a crash course, I'd say, on what wholesaling is. But thank you for tuning in. We're going to be going through some more segments about very detailed amounts about every part of wholesaling. And so, guys, tune in, and hopefully you'll got some enjoyment out of this and got to learn something. If you want to contact us or contact Donnie, what's your phone number?
My phone number, well, I'll give you my social media.
Okay.
My social media, you can find me on Facebook, Donovan Ruffin. It's Donovan, D-O-N-O-V-A-N, Ruffin. My Instagram's the Donovan Ruffin. Just give me a follow. My email address is Donnie Buys Houses. That's Donnie with the Y, D-O-N-N-Y, buys houses at Gmail. So if you want to contact me. Sorry, I got a lot of people blowing me already.
But right now. And guys, if you want to check out for more of these trainings, you can visit the Real Estate Reformation on our Facebook and or go to therealreform.com and you can contact us at 817-614-8115. And so Donnie, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Cool. Thank you.
Yep.